Breathedge is an interesting paradox of a game. The game is about escorting your dead grandfather along his journey on a funeral cruise. The coffin he is in is to be used to write a personality code to create a casket bot, a literal AI based off the deceased, and it walks around and pretends to still be them. Further, the game is about survival in a spaceship accident. But then it has some very odd contradictions. Before I get into that, though, we're going to talk about the fact that tonight we are streaming over on Twitch. I think I'm far enough into the video I can say the word Twitch and YouTube not be like, bad! We're streaming over on Twitch with a one-shot to see if you guys would be interested in watching a particularly new game supporting a different indie developer besides Dead Tree Studio. Up on screen now is Hori, a owl, sentient owl. The game is furries in space, and it's post-humanism, so basically all humans are gone. It's being run by the actual game dev, so please do come over to Twitch tonight and enjoy that. In the meantime, let's get into the review. The ship accident has left you stranded with no way home, floating in deep space. From here, you use various methods of survival and exploration through the space around you and the crash site to successfully navigate your way to some form of ship or rescue vessel to get you out of here. You use a chicken for various things, from de-electrifying wires to plugging holes temporarily until you get the right materials for it. The fact you use a chicken just kind of exemplifies the comedy that you're going to see here. Everything from the postman floating with undelivered mail to a Mortal Kombat reference with 2 dead passengers that died in a horrific manner, to someone who got speared with a lamppost before the accident while they were handcuffed to a bed because their wife found out they were cheating on them. The game's story is told through a combination of notes, the environment, your mission computer, and messages sent from someone else who survived, but you never really locate them. My guess is it's a guy catfishing you for their own amusement. Having played this for an extended period of time, I have found I'm bored. The game has a simple loop of go out, grab resources, get back, build something you found to extend the range you can explore, rinse and repeat. The problem with this is how the game extends range to the new areas as you acquire items. You're always just retransversing the same distances over and over again. And it creates a gameplay loop that just is tedious and boring. And I don't really enjoy it. I get the hardcore survival sim, but this shouldn't be that because of the levels of comedy and absurdity that are thrown in here. Allow me to explain. You start with being able to be 30 seconds outside of your escape pod before you suffocate. Not like starting to struggle, but I mean taking raw health damage. Now this gets better as you get an oxygen balloon and later an oxygen tank. The problem is that while the game is in the first hour or two bombards you with humor and references, that suddenly slows down and gets really spaced out. And your expectations get lowered and lowered. Let me explain how this cycle becomes so tedious. You get an oxygen tank, which allows you to build oxygen stations. But those oxygen stations run out of oxygen rather quickly, mind you, and that means I have to build a new station to refill it. So the further and further I get from my safe zone, the more and more I'm redoing all of the steps that got me to that. So if I go from point to A to B to C to D, I'm then rebuilding all of the things that got me from A to B and B to C and C to D so I can get to E.
You lie again.
But frankly, this game manages to make being in space boring and both sensical and nonsensical by the laws of physics. See, it's saying freezing danger. That doesn't make any sense. We're in space. The temperature is absolute 0. Of course it's a freezing danger. That's what space is. Why should I care it's freezing cold? Is it because my glass is going to freeze up? We're in space. So long as, you know, I'm actually airtight in here, I shouldn't be having this problem. I should be warm on the inside and it'd be fine. And it doesn't work that way. As you can see from the fogging up window. But I'm going to have to traverse this area dozens of times. So I'm not even the slightest bit bothered by the fogged up window, because I know that once I get to this heating coil, window's going to unfog. And then I'll be allowed to go a little further. Not nearly far enough, but a little further. I guess that just really bothers me, is now I have to go back to the start, build a new oxygen tank, and go further. I don't want to do that. And there's going to come a point where that radiation meter in the lower right gets too high. See, now I can't see. So I'm gonna die. And this makes no sense. Like, any astronaut worth his salt would be able to wipe his visor of the ice crystals. As you can see, the trip in, the trip out, and the trip back, that cost me precious resources. And it just continues to run about, and the artificial extension of game time by making resources both scarce and, this is the dumbest part, resources respawn when you close the game. I get it's a survival game and there's supposed to be a basic survival loop, but this basic survival loop is driving you towards an objective rather than letting you have a sandbox. And the cartoonish gore and situations you find the crew in get further and further between each other, not because of distance, but because you're retracing your steps over and over and over again. I find the game's comedy spot on for a unique tone of straight up grimdark comedy that I enjoy, and there's fourth wall breaking. But just how the world is presented, from an ever useful pet chicken to the guy who died during Kiki sex, I mean, those are just good times. You even find a smuggler who dies because he implodes from trying to smuggle goods inside his stomach. But I do not enjoy the parts where I'm trying to get to those moments, because all I'm doing is just traversing space over and over. And what ends up happening is, because I keep having to retransverse the same length of space, I get to see the same joke over and over again until it's not funny anymore, and it's just annoying. If you're up for a deep space survival simulator, yeah, sure, this would be for you. Otherwise, if you're not up for that deep space survival experience where everything is constantly having to be redone and retraced because you're surviving out here by yourself, and if you're not up for objective exploration that requires retracing your steps over and over again because the mechanics develop into monotony, this is not for you. I mean, you get waypoints, and I did enjoy the first 2 hours. But then after 2 hours, I didn't really enjoy it. And then I found a speed run that can do the entire first chapter in only 20 minutes. So the struggles and difficulty I'm having, apparently there is a right path, and you're never presented with that right path. You're always just given to make your own decision, which I appreciate, but apparently there is a right, precise path you can take, and you can do the entire chapter in under 20 minutes. If it's up to you, really. If you want to dive into something like Breathedge, go ahead, but frankly, I would rather play Subnautica or Ark Survival Evolved, where I'm not retracing my steps over and over again to get to the same checkpoint or the same milestone. Go check it out. It's over here on Steam if you're interested. But in the meantime, this has been Fiaura. I'm coming back with you with another review that'll be positive this time. Hey. So here's the previous review. And that's about it. If you like this, subscribe and like. Otherwise, I mean, that's fine. I understand. I will see you guys tonight for the special live stream, and I'll see you tomorrow for Fallout Equestria live stream. Good night, everyone.